Hey, welcome back. This is it. We are just going to add a little polish to our game, maybe some sound effects. We're going to add a feature, you can see right there, top score. And so just kind of a couple of fun things. And so I'll go ahead and play it here. You can see that we're going to add some sound effects for when we hit people. They get kind of like a killed sound, like a thunk. Also, if they make it to the edge, they actually get away, which is kind of neat. So they make like a boing. We're also going to add it if you lose. So if you lose, kind of overwhelming sound there of losing. And then this top score. So top score didn't go up for me there because I scored -1. But if I had beat the highest score, it would reset it. By the way, you can also reset the top score manually. You can just do that slider thing and just slide it back over. But it only goes up if you beat it. So let's go back to our game and let's think about how we're going to add some of these features. Sounds are pretty easy. So I'm going to add sounds in a minute, but I think that I'll do top score would be a good thing. So top score has to happen when the game ends. The game ends in the hero when it says game over and then it does a stop all. And so that's kind of where the end game happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new variable. I'm going to call it top score. It's going to be for all sprites. And you can see that the top score is currently set to 0. By the way, this level duration, I'm eventually going to take this off. I just have kind of left it around. Maybe I'll move it down here so the top score can have a good prominent spot right there. Top score is a pretty easy feature to add that you can do in many games. And the idea is that just if the current score is bigger than, so if score is ever bigger than top score, and so notice top score is currently 0. If that ever happens, then all you've got to do is you've got to set top score to the score, right? So if that ever happens, and then you've got to decide where to put it. I'm just going to put it right at the top. Maybe I'll put it right in the middle of game over. So I'm going to immediately stop other scripts in the sprite. This code's going to run very, very quickly, and then it'll say game over. So if I were to run it right now, if I were to score a single point, there's 1 point, and then I lose, you can see the top score is now 1. Cool, so that worked pretty good. Just for fun, I'm going to do it one more time. There's an obliterate, and then if I get killed, my score was 9, and so now you can see the top score is 9. If you ever want to reset it, there's a couple ways you can reset it. One way is you can bring over some code that says set top score to 0, and then if you just double click on it, watch what happens. It runs that line of code. You could also make it to where like spacebar resets it, or the other thing you could do is you could just set it as a slider and just slide it to 0, right? So there's a couple different ways to reset it. I kind of like just double clicking on it, but that's me. All right, so that feature was actually quite easy. So that feature is now added.
Did we have something? Oh, the bomb you just accidentally ran into.
That was awesome.
Maybe it was purposeful.
That was save the day.
Did we have a message that was going to display and tell them congratulations, you got the top score, or is that coming later?
Oh, we totally could. Let's see here. Did we in the original?
I thought we did, but I didn't remember. I'll go look at the original.
Well, let's see here. We could definitely add it. I mean, it's trivial, really easy to add. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, we did. So let's just go ahead and add that real quick. So we're just going to say new top score, or new high score. I don't know why, but top score felt wrong to say in the message there. All right, so now I'm going to score a point. And then when I lose, it'll say new high score, and then it'll say game over. But it tells you that you got a new high score. I think that's a good addition, so I like that one, Bob.
And it waits for 2 seconds before it sets it, and so, or does it set it right away?
So I think it sets it. Oh, I'm gonna bomb them there.
All right.
So I think it sets it right away. Oh no, you're right.
Nope. So that gives you, if you ever break the score, you get a chance to glance up. You've got literally 1.5 seconds by the time you notice it.
It's like, oh, it used to be.
To see the top score was, and then boom.
And then I
transition.
Yeah, that's fun. Cool. Let's sprinkle in a few more sounds. So a few more sounds. When an enemy gets hit by a bullet, you can see that they're quiet as a mouse. So let's go and add a sound there. I think that let's see, what sounds do we currently know how to do? We know how to do pop. I'm just going to see what we did in our version, Bob. But before
where are we? We're in the enemy.
So I was going to do low boing is what I was going to do, Bob.
You had a string pluck when they touched the edge. You had a low boing when they lost their enemy health. Yeah.
String pluck. So
that was when they hit the edge.
Yep. So what I'm doing here is I'm teaching this sprite to play sounds. He can now do low boing and pluck. And then I'm going to decide where to put them into the code. So if they touch the edge, they're going to play string pluck. I'm going to choose to not do the until done. I'm just going to start it. Notice that they will get deleted, but I think the sound, you'll actually hear the sound the whole way. And then if their health drops to 0, I'm going to start the sound low boing.
And I think you noticed Dave selected that pull down. You can either select it in the column where the options are and then drag it in, or you can drag it in and then select it. Either one works.
Cool. And you could play a sound when they get hit some too, and then there's string pluck when they get to the other end. Cool. And sounds add things.
You're talking in the recording in Zoom. I could not hear pop at all, or the sound of the bullet. I could hear them when they hit the edge. That's what I could hear clearly.
That's funny. I'm now going to go into Obliterate and play Boom Cloud. This sound is quite annoying, but it'll be a fun little surprise for people when they get your Obliterate. I don't know if I'm going to wait long enough to see it come. While I'm playing, I'm also going to think about what I want to do with level duration. So right now, 5 seconds, it's just zooming through the game, right? Which is pretty fast. And so you can try to... Oh, there it is.
On screen.
I didn't actually kill anybody, but that's okay.
But you heard the sound?
But I heard the sound. Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
No, the sound was quite deafening.
Oh, good.
I think that, Bob, I'm going to go with... I'm going to hide... Oh, that's neat. I forgot you could do that. I can actually just hide it right there. I'm going to go with about 20 seconds on the... level duration. So I'm going to set level duration to 20.
Yep, and that's a programmer choice, right?
Programmer
if you're
choice.
Designing your game and you want to make it just where you want to rifle through levels as fast as you can and see how quickly you can get up, that's fine. If you want to make it feel more like maybe a traditional game where you settle into each level for a little bit before the next thing happens, 20, 30, maybe even 60 seconds, a full minute before it changes.
And then we probably ought to have a lose sound on the hero as well, so when the game's over, you know it, right?
Yep, we had a lose in the hero.
Yep.
The original.
Let's go with start sound lose. Should you play the sound? You should probably just start it right off the go, right? Even when you get a high
whatever
score.
reason in the final, we did it right before we said game over, but I'm
Gotcha.
not sure it matters much.
All right, we can do that. So we'll scooch it down to there.
Does it matter much?
It's just a matter of whether it's playing while you're being told you got the high score. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I reset high score to 0 just so that I could get the high score. New high score. I think it felt awkward. I think that I'm going to move it to the top again. And it's quite loud. By the way, if your volumes are too much, you could definitely you could bring it down some. Maybe I should turn down Boom Cloud some too. All right, so when I get hit, I will now have a lose sound. Cool, I can handle that volume level. And then there's one more feature that I'm going to add, but I think what I want to do first is I want to just show you how you can share it with other people, right? And so if I go look at the project page, that'll give me a link that I can share with people. And so I'll just say use WASD to move and click the mouse to fire. Aim using the mouse as well. And now what people can do is they can just go to this URL, and so I could send it to Bob over here. Bob, you could probably just look at it and you could type it, or I could drop it in the chat to Bob here. There you go, Bob. I've got to
Ready? I will click on that.
I've got to figure out how to get it back into a small screen. I am not very good at using the Zoom view. Maybe I can make us small again. Oh, well, I'll just put us off screen. There we go. And so you can have people try your game out and just say, hey, what do you think? Right? Like you want to try it out? I'll tell you what, Bob, you want to screen share and then we can see you playing the game?
Sure. So I will have to take over your share, which
That's
is
fine.
not a problem.
This has a name, by the way. If you're doing testing within your team, it's called alpha testing. But if you're doing testing with people who didn't build the thing, it's called beta testing. And so right now I'm beta testing.
So you can see oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, no, I had to click on your screen. So now Bob is trying out my game.
Yeah, so you can see I just took that link that he sent me, and so I have the exact same URL here, but now I am just like you could be. If you typed this in, you would be in the exact same version. I could go see inside. I think that this means that I can edit your version right now, right?
The thing that you're editing won't affect me. So, I mean, just for fun, I'll tell you, take one of the game overs and just disconnect it, just so you, just so that
One of the game overs and disconnect it.
Yeah, just that's plenty. Just to show that won't affect me, because Bob's essentially affecting his own copy, and if he doesn't save it, then it won't even matter what he did, right? It just lets him kind of play. But Bob can play around. Bob, I think you had a feature where you wanted to change backdrops or something like that.
Oh, I thought it might be fun to change the backdrops, but you wanted to see me play for a second, so I'll go ahead and show how bad I am at this game in comparison to Dave.
It's all about practice.
That's right. Dave has spent hours playing this game, whereas I've only spent minutes playing it.
Cool, but the idea is that as people play your game, they'll give you comments. Now, it's sometimes hard to receive people's comments because you're like, they'll say it's too hard or it's too easy. But try to be a little bit like thinking about how you can make the game better. Like, what are they saying that they'd like to see? And so Bob's feature that he was interested in was he'd like for it to switch backdrops. So Bob, I think I'll steal the screen share back so you can see what's going on. All right. And then I'm going to go in and add that feature. So Bob thinks that we should have multiple backdrops. So right now I've got a galaxy, but I might want some other things. So Bob, is your person who requested it, what kind of other places do you want to travel to?
Oh, I still like the space theme, so I think just having a few of these in there, maybe the stars would be a good one. Moon was good.
Which one did we use before? Oh, well, we didn't have Nebula in there yet. We need Nebula.
No, Nebula. I was just thinking back to games I played on Nintendo growing up, right? And it often seemed like as the game advanced, things got faster, but then also it almost took you to a different world. And then once you got so good that you got up to the last world, it would often loop back around to the beginning world just in a much, much harder state. You kind of felt this sense of accomplishment, like, I kind of beat the game to some degree at this point. Yeah, exactly.
And this is a very easy feature to implement. We just have to decide when we want to go to the next backdrop. So Bob, I'm making this feature for you. Do you want it to happen every level? Or do you want it to happen only when the round changes? Which would you prefer?
Round for sure. Yeah,
All right,
this is
so
something that I feel like each world should see each enemy,
okay.
and then when we're cycling back to the next back to the beginning of the enemies, it almost feels like, okay, just a nice visual shift that, okay, we're in a new part of the game now where obviously they can become shooters. They're going to be moving faster. A lot of different things are going to be happening as we advance, and this backdrop shifting will be a nice visual indicator for us.
Cool. So to test it, I'm going to temporarily take the level duration down to only 2 seconds. And then that way, I like Nebula way better right off the go.
You can, if you like starting with Nebula, it's one of those things where, hey, put it in. Make that the first.
Oh, yeah.
Make that the first one.
And so right now it's disorienting because I took it down to 2 seconds, which means that the backdrop is changing every 6 seconds.
And a good thing to verify is how this game plays. I just noticed that pterodactyls look a lot like the moon in terms of their coloring. So there are going to be backdrops that are going to potentially be more challenging, or that you'll want to modify.
Nobody could hear you when I got the boom cloud, Bob. Sorry about that. Sorry, but the pterodactyls were quite a bit like
sorry. I couldn't hear that. I couldn't be heard.
No.
I was just saying that the pterodactyl's camouflaged by the moon, so you could either nix the moon and not use it, or potentially go into the moon and edit its color scheme a little bit. I don't know if that's easy to do, but lots of options.
Yeah, it'd be a little hard to do. I think that, or just sometimes you ignore your beta tester's feedback. Maybe I'll just leave it.
Just leave it.
And Bob also had another good idea. I like that we always start with Nebula, so I kind of like that. Then that way it'll feel like, so if every time you start at Nebula, then it'll feel like you've really done something. I might have to turn down Boom Cloud. It's a little deafening.
And again, Dave made that fix in software. He just turned the backdrop to Nebula at the start. You could go in and just position the backdrops in the order that you want them in. Although I guess it's going to remember what backdrop you're on. So you probably do want some sort of a code, but it could be switch to backdrop 1. You could play that whole round 1 trick to go to the first of whatever it is. But
So right now I'm starting with Nebula, and then I'm going to finish with Moon. And if I wanted to, I could drive Nebula to the top, right? And I can kind of like set the order. And you could also make your own special backdrops, right? So, I mean, if you wanted to, you could just make a backdrop that says... you are awesome. Oops, I am writing in the same color as my backdrop.
You are awesomely camouflaged.
You are awesome.
Yo are awesome. See, it's hard to see typos when you are camouflaged.
You are awesome. And so you can definitely, kind of have fun with these things. And so there it'll only say you are awesome if you make it to round 5. So it's going to take quite a while, even at 2 seconds, to make it to round 5.
Yep, you are awesome could be a top score backdrop that pops up.
Oh, that'd be fun too.
When you get the top score, you change to that backdrop. Now, of course, it's on the list, so you might, if you're doing well at the game, you might cycle through to that one regardless. It's hard to, we'd be adding a whole other little set of code when we rotate through our backdrops to avoid this, but...
Mine's called Blue Sky right now, and so, hold on. Yeah. So I'm going to start in Nebula. There's just always so many features. I'm going to get 1 point, and then I'm going to die. And then it says, you are awesome. Now, one thing that was kind of weird there is... it was still toggling during this 2 seconds and 3 seconds, so it's still changing rounds. Yeah. All right. So if you wanted to, but now that this guy's doing stuff, he needs to now listen for the game ending, right? So when I receive either enemy hit or oh, I did this backwards. Enemy hit the hero or that one. I want to stop other scripts in the sprite because he was changing the backdrop during the kind of like telling you that the game was over phase, right? So
So
this
if
was
other people are watching this, I have a hard time seeing what those are. Could you say
yeah.
what those are again? There we go.
So
Enemy
those
bullet
are
hit hero or enemy hit hero. The two ways the game ends.
And so if the game ends, don't keep switching the level. That's probably a good thing to add, actually, no matter what. Cool. All right. I think that we have finished the game. I'm going to put back level duration to 20. And I'm now going to click Save Now to make sure it's saved. And my game is now done. So this is the Ladybug shooter. Man, that was huge. All right, let's reflect a little bit on... and then it takes quite a bit longer to actually go between levels. So now I could actually play for like 3 minutes. So I'm not going to make you watch me for 3 minutes. I'm just going to die. You are awesome. Oh, I just set the high score. You were awesome. Oh, by the way, the power-up kept going there even during the end game as well. So, I'm not saying that you have to, OCD every little thing, but it was a little awkward that the power-up switched as well. So I'm just going to...
Have your additional, the last fix, the when bullet hit hero or enemy hits hero.
Yeah, so if the enemy bullet hits the hero or the enemy hits the hero, in both of those, I want to stop other scripts in the sprite, right?
Yeah.
Just being a little OCD there because I got this bomb shows up after I was dead, right? And I was like,
why? What's that showing up for? Game's
right.
over.
All right, save now again. All right, so in this final little segment, we learned about top score, which is a handy little feature. You can just kind of tack that onto all your games quite easily. Sounds, and then adjusting gameplay variables, and try to get like fun beta tester feedback, like have other people play your game, and how you respond to that.
Yeah, there were a lot of variables you could play with here. Some it doesn't make sense to change unless you were doing a much bigger picture change. Like you wouldn't want to go in and just start changing num enemy types unless you were actually adding an additional enemy. You wouldn't want to just randomly change the level of the round. But there's a number of variables that we put in that totally change the gameplay. Like how fast does the hero move? In those lists, what was the starting speed for each enemy? A lot of little things you could play with the sizes of things. Dave mentioned, I think it was in the last video, how the pterodactyl's wings were just hard to dodge.
Yeah.
If you don't like that, make the pterodactyl smaller. Go edit its wings to make them smaller. So many variables that you can make to personalize this.
There was that one goof we did where there was like a gun that shot out of the middle. I actually kind of thought that was fun too. Maybe at some round you have a gun
Oh,
shoot.
yeah. Just a feature
All right. So that's reflecting on what we did in this one. Next, we've got to reflect on what we did in this whole game.
Yeah, we did a lot.
And it's also the end of the camp, right? And so in this whole game, we saw how there's no way you could keep all of this in your head at one time, right? And so the only way to make something big is to figure out how you can break it up and then to just put your full focus into one thing at a time. And do it in such a way that you can like keep growing and building. And so you can see that we broke this up into these 8 sprints, and it seemed to go pretty well. And you just had to think about what the next logical thing to build up is. You could have done this in very, very different orders, but this was kind of the logical way that we kind of thought about building it up. Anything you wanted to add on reflecting on this whole 8 sprint game, Bob?
No, I think, well, yeah, I guess yes, a little bit, but nothing that's going to take too much time. I think when you get done with a project like this, you should take a moment and applaud yourself on a job well done. If you happen to be watching this video at the end, you just wanted to see how this was all going to finish, but you didn't go and watch the other sprints. Each one has its own level of complexity that is just going to make you stronger, more well practiced at this art of creating code and creating games. When Dave came to me with the idea for connecting with Code 25, he said, I want to make a big game. I just want to make the biggest game we've ever made. We did that by far. There wasn't a single game we've made in previous years that was more than a couple videos. So this was a lot of fun. We hope that not only did you enjoy, but we hope you learned a lot along the way. Yeah, Dave's taking us back to the very first two warm-up videos that we did at the beginning of this camp was Unicorn Runner and Snake. And then Ladybug Shooter obviously has consumed the last 8 videos.
Yeah, and so we you probably didn't believe us when we finished Snake that we were like 20% done, but now you believe us, right? So now you can see that Ladybug Shooter was quite a bit bigger than the others. All right, so thank you for joining us for Connecting with Code 2025. We'll make sure to put all the videos up on the website. If you ever want to, you can go to Connecting with Code. And you can see videos from many different years. So we go, the video archive goes back to 2020. You can see that there's 10 different projects that we did in 2021. And then this one will be up in 2025 with the video that you've got here. So thank you so much for joining us.
2020 used Scratch.
Yep.
2020 used a program environment called Tinker.
Yep.
Did you have one more very last slide there at the end?
I did.
Okay.
Glossed over it, but we could glance at it if you wanted. So,
I think it just summarizes what we already talked about.
Yeah, I think so.
Big games are totally doable, and as Dave said, breaking them up into small steps helps. As you saw with this game, the complexity really did grow quickly. Everything we added often came with 3 other places where it was going to impact something. Even at the end, we saw, when the game ends, we now have to add these 2 things in like 4 or 5 different spots. And that's okay. That's how bigger games grow. A lot of flexibility in how you do it. You saw one way that we did it. There were other times that other options were available. Sometimes there's a wrong way in the sense that you're going to get to a spot that just won't work and you have to tweak it, but a lot of times it's just a matter of preference. This does take a lot of practice, and hopefully that practice is fun.
Yep.
Especially if you've got someone that you can rely on if you get stuck. But yeah, we definitely hope that this is the start or the continuation of an excellent coding future for you.
Cool. Thank you so much for joining us this year. Hopefully see you sometime in the future as well. Bye.
Happy coding. See you in 26.